What are the steps of turning $1 bandit signs like these into $10,000 paydays consistently? Well, I'm going to show you how. Stand by. Let's get it. Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man, turning $1 bandit signs into $10,000 paydays. I know that's hard to believe, but it's happened to me, and it has happened to many others all around the country. Now, before I get into the video, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications by tapping the little bell, so you are alerted whenever I upload new videos and when we go live on Thursday nights on our Ask Flipman show, Flipinar, where we answer your questions about real estate investing with a main focus on wholesaling, which is where you don't need any cash or credit to make money in real estate. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ask Flipman. If you hang around at the end of this video, there will be an option there to select a video where I actually show you how and where to put out bandit signs. So stick around for that particular video. Okay, back to why you're here. How can you turn $1 bandit signs into $10,000 paydays? I'm using the number 10,000 because that's a common payday for a wholesaler. Sometimes it's a lot more, sometimes it's a lot less, just depends. But $10,000 is a comfortable number no matter where you are. Again, it's just going to vary depending on the market that you're dealing in. But 4 and 5 figure paydays consistently. Okay, so I did an Instagram post and I came up with 10 rules of how you should go about putting your bandit sign campaign together. So I said, this could be an actual video besides an actual written Instagram post that went along with the previous video that I was just mentioning. So here we go. I'm going to start out with those particular rules, and hopefully this will help you. Number 1, you need an actual phone number for your bandit signs. In reality, you need a different phone number for all your different methods of marketing, from bandit signs to direct mail to cold calling to ringless voicemail, driving for dollars, whatever. You need different phone numbers because you need to be able to track where your leads are coming from so you can see if what you're doing is working so you can do more of it, or if it's something that's not working so you can change it and do obviously less of that and try to make the adjustments to improve on that particular marketing method. All right, so you can get a Google Voice number. I think they're still free as the date of this video. The service that I use is called Vumber. That's Vumber, like V as in Victor. Instead of Number, it's V as in Victor, Umber. And with Vumber, it's very inexpensive, but it gives you a lot of features that you can use to manage your leads, such as obviously you can get phone numbers there and you can get multiple numbers. You can forward those numbers to wherever. Normally I just forwarded them to my actual cell phone. You can record your calls. You can text, and you can send and receive text messages. You can have a voicemail set up there. You can actually send fax through those numbers. I'm trying to think of everything it does. Those are the highlights, but you can check it out, and it's very inexpensive. So that's what I would suggest. That's what I actually use as the date of this video. That could change, but that's what I use. There are some other services out there, but that's my preference. Number 2, your message. Now you see We Buy Houses a lot because it works, or I Buy Houses because it works. I've tested it all. We Buy Houses tends to work a little better. You'll see some people that'll have their name out there that Jack buys houses or something like that. That works also. But you have to keep it simple and straight to the point. I know you want to get creative and all these type of things, but what you have to understand, you have a small space, meaning the sign that you're placing your message on. The more text you put on it, the harder it will be to read from a distance. Remember, people are in traffic and they're not looking for your message. So you have to put it in their face as much as possible and make them see it, whether they want to see it or not. So keep it simple. And I've started to go to a portrait layout, as you can see on the screen here, where it's going straight up or down. You can add more information. And the size that I use, well, we'll get into the size. The size that I use is 18 by 24. So the way you see it here, I can use the We Buy Houses. I can even add a website, which you don't have to do that. You can put another message there or whatever. You don't have a website, but it just gives you one more way of generating leads since they're already reading your message. If you have a simple, easy to remember website that makes sense. A lot of times people come up with domain names, and then I get it, because if that's not your thing, you don't understand how important the website name is. And the one thing that you should just remember, these two rules, right? If they can remember it by seeing it one time on your sign, or the actual thing is on a billboard and remember it, you probably have a good website name. It's called a domain name. You probably have a good domain name. Or if they hear it one time on the radio and they remember it, you probably have a good domain name. Now, it makes it even better if the domain name sort of explains what you do. Now, like dearyourlater.com is what you see here on the sign. I just put that there because that's not the name that I use on my sign. I just put there because, Dear Your Later is a real estate tool that I offer that is great, and you should check it out, which I have videos here on it. But people wouldn't know what Dear Your Later was. You would have to have a tagline on a billboard and or a radio ad to explain what it is. Now, they may be able to remember it if they can spell it, which they probably couldn't, or whatever, because it's a play on the word calculator if you didn't get it. But it's short and it's one word. It's a made up word, but it's one word. So you may have a website, just to explain this a little more, name, because I think it's important. You may have a name that AtlantaCashBuyers.com. I actually think I own that name, but just using that as an example, AtlantaCashBuyers.com. All right. Okay. They could probably remember that. Even though that's 3 words, the cash buyer part of it is obviously easy to remember. But if you're in Atlanta, you're going to remember that part too. So they could probably remember that. So I'm trying to get you to understand how, and then people talk like that. You wouldn't want to say the easiest cash buyers in Atlanta ever. That's too long, number one, but that's not the way we normally communicate in just statements. But Atlanta cash buyers, that's straight to the point, tells exactly what it is, right? So if you have a website, you can put it in this little area, and you don't have to do the design I have here or whatever. So and then obviously the phone number, and I always like to put call or text there, because you're going to normally be using numbers that can be called, obviously, but also you can receive a text message. And a lot of people prefer to do that. And I get a lot of text messages from the sign. So your message. Number 3, the right colors. Now, that's totally up to you. I was told by a sign shop that I've been using ever since I've been here in the business. I don't use them really for my large art or bandit signs, but I use them for other forms of design and printing or whatever, or signage. But she told me that, the reason that you see red in a lot of business logos, not all of them, but in a lot of business logos, is because, according to science, the human eyes are attracted to red first and blue second. And really the only thing that they're going to pop on is a white background. Now, I've done yellow on black, black on yellow. Those will stand out a little, but I think the red and white, whether it's red on white or blue on white or a combination of red and blue on white, they're just going to pop more, because they're just the way our eyes are set up to be attracted to those particular colors. Now it's totally up to you, but I'm just telling you, I've tried it all. I even tried to do some pink signs, and the sign lady told me that the signs were going to fade, and they did. And so that was wasted money. And I know you want to be different than everyone else, but look at it as everyone else. When everybody's using We Buy Houses, they don't know one person from another. So you're getting like free branding whenever you see that. You getting free branding. So that's why you need to put your numbers out there with the same message. And you can test stuff. You may test and see that one message works better than others, which I've already went over the message part of it. But the color scheme, I'm just telling you what has worked for me, and I've tested it all. And since I've been doing this since 2003, trust me, I've tried to think outside the box, and you just go, it works. 2 + 2 still 4. So number 4, the size of your signs. Now, you probably see previous videos where I've done 18 by 24s, 9 by 24s, 12 by 18, which is 9 by 24, and the 12 by 18 have the same square inches as far as size. And recently I did a test with the same message, but different sizes and different phone numbers to see which one works better. I did the 12 by 18 portrait look straight up and down, and I did 18 by 24 portrait look straight up and down. And I put out more of the smaller signs than I did the larger signs, but guess which one outperformed 5-1? The larger signs. But it's not rocket science that people can see the larger sign better than they can the smaller sign. Now, I'm going to always side on your budget is your budget. If 12 by 18 is what fits into your budget, roll with those. But I would recommend saving maybe $100 or $200 more to get the larger signs to get the bigger bang for your buck. Because it's only going to take one batch of signs to work, and you can buy signs for the next 2 years if you wanted to, or then and still have money left over, to do whatever you need to do. So it's only going to take one batch of signs. So don't get discouraged if your first batch of 100 or 200 something, I'll get into how many you should order in a minute, don't work. Maybe the second doesn't work. The third, you're still probably under $1,000, but that may be a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 payday. What's the return on that? So don't get discouraged as long as you're doing them right now. You're putting out signs, they keep coming down, then come on now, you got to get it that you just can't keep putting them in those areas. But I'll get into that in a moment also. All right, so that's number 4, the size. So I normally go with the 18 by 24, you see on the screen here, portrait. Okay, number 5, where should you be placing your signs? All right, now once you place your order, you've paid for them and they have to be shipped to you, or if you're buying them locally. And it's normally hard to find signs cheaper than what you can get online, but if you do, so be it. You can always price check with online and local to you. Okay, in that time frame when you're waiting on your signs to be shipped to you, you should be driving around your market looking for signs that already exist. And at the same time, you could be driving for dollars, identifying properties that appear to be vacant, looking at for rent signs, trying to reach out to landlords, and the rent sign that you want to target, or the generic red and white, black and white, because it's normally going to be the owner. Just throw that nugget in there also. Okay, but you're driving around to identify where signs already exist. Well, I know your first thought is, well, I don't see any signs in this area. I'm going to be the only one. I'm going to be the only hamburger shop in this area for miles. Guess what? In most cases, there's a reason why you don't see bandit signs in those areas. Now, this is most cities, not all, especially cities of any significant size. Is the reason that guys that have been using bandit signs in your market, because there's nothing new. It's not like I've invented bandit signs. They existed well before I got in real estate. And going back, I started back in 2003. I actually used to notice bandit signs, but I didn't know what they were doing or whatever. So you're going to look for areas where signs already exist, and you're going to probably have to get outside of your comfort zone, because the first thing people want to do is to try to start investing wherever they live, which is fine. But if you're going to use bandit sign, which is the purpose of this video, you need to first identify where they are being used, which means where they appear that they're staying up. And a lot of times you can just look at a sign and you can just see how weather worn it is. And you say, man, that sign is like it's been up a year. Okay, those are going to probably be good areas to place signs. Now, in a lot of cases, not all, they're going to be in areas that would be considered, which is mean D and dog. You have your A areas, which would be, this is the best example I can give because most people can relate to Beverly Hills. And then you're going to have your D areas. I don't know if that's a D in LA, but I'm going to go with this because people will be able to relate to this. A D area may be Compton, just to compare the two. All right, you may be able to get away with them in Compton, but not at all in Beverly Hills. That's the best example. So people don't start sending me all kind of crazy comments. I don't know. I'm just going by what my perception is, whether it's wrong or right or whatever. But most people outside of LA think probably the way I do, whether it's wrong or right. So don't kill me on this. I'm just trying to make an analogy here. And so those are the areas normally you can get away with bandit signs. And okay, some people say, well, you're messing up the neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Another thing that you want to do them or you don't, I can't get into that part. I'm just telling you how to make this money. You know what I'm saying? So, and the way I explained it, this lady that called me one time about bandit signs in her neighborhood, I was like, ma'am, you have a lot of houses in your area that are vacant. That's what really is uglying up your neighborhood, right? Would you prefer someone to buy those houses, right, or them to stay that way, and no bandit signs, or at least a chance to buy those houses, versus giving us an opportunity to buy and try to improve your neighborhood and increase your property values by the transactions that are going on there? That's the way I look at it. Okay, but anyway, that's another video. So anyway, point being, you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone and identify where bandit signs exist. Now, you can test in areas that they don't exist. When I say test, you may put up 4 or 5, check on them a day or so, a week or so later. If they're still up, then you may want to compound, put out 5 to 10 more, and if they continue to, then hey, you may have been onto an untapped area in your market that you can get away with bandit signs. So boom, there you go. But starting out, you want to identify what signs already exist, and you want to place signs there too, and don't get into, well, there's so many signs out there. That's a good thing. If you see a lot of signs that say we buy houses in a particular area, that is a good thing. Get yours out there. McDonald's sells hamburgers, Wendy's, Burger King, Crystals, White Castle. I can go on and on. All of them making money. You can be one of those hamburger stands with your bandit signs, just to being sarcastic here. So number 6. Okay, your signs have arrived. You're excited. Now you need a method of hanging your signs. Now some people use stakes, whether wooden or wire stakes. Some people use old hammer and nail to nail up on wooden poles. But my preference over the last 3 to 4 years has been cable ties, all right, or zip ties. And those are, they're normally used for electrical work too. Well, and a lot of times just to tie cables together so they won't be in the way or whatever. But they're great for bandit signs. So I normally go with 14 inches in size. I normally can only get those at Home Depot. I've never seen them at Lowe's long enough at Lowe's. And then I normally buy a pack of 500. You could go with a smaller pack of 100 or so, but I normally go with the larger pack of 500, which will cost about $35. But they'll last. They'll last for your first order of signs for sure. Maybe a sign order too, depending on how many that you order. So you need your equipment to hang the signs with, and that's it. Oh, you need a tool to punch the holes through the plastic. And I get this question, people say, well, what do you punch the holes through with? And my response always is plastic, really whatever you want to. But specifically, what I use is called a nail setter. You don't have to spin that. If you already have a Phillips head screwdriver laying around, that'll work fine, but I use this device called a nail setter. that you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's also. Number 7, what are the best days to put out bandit signs? Well, I would literally put them out any day. Me and my crew will put them out any day. But the actual best days, in my opinion, to put them out is first Sunday morning early. I never put them out at night. That's just not my thing. But I'll get up early enough. When I say early enough, between 6 and 7, we'll start to put them out. Sunday mornings is the best. Normally people are just not out. Each city is different again, of course. But normally that's going to be one of the slower days. Not a lot of traffic out or whatever versus the other days. The second day would be Saturday, same thing, early, 6 or 7. With Saturday, you may want to get up even a little earlier if the daylight hours permit, and try to get up between 5 and 6, just depending on what time of the year it is, but definitely between 6 and 7. Traffic is a little heavier than Sunday or whatever, but it's still not as many people out as it is during the week during those times. The third day would be Friday evening. Now, if you're in a city where the signs come down quite a bit or come down fast, then I would just put them out late Friday evening. Some people go back and pick them up late Sunday evening, just get those two full days out of them. I would probably only put out just a small number, maybe about 25 in just some really hot areas, and just let them, when they take them down, they take them down. As long as they're not calling you, fine. So you're going to always be buying bandit signs. It's almost like toilet paper or whatever, or tissue. So you're going to always be buying them, but they'll be producing. Because if you just put them out those couple of days, people will get used to seeing them on the weekends or whatever. And you'll start to receive calls. I just wouldn't put a lot out, but I'll put them in very, very visible areas that'll get a lot of eyeballs in those couple of days. If I'm only going to be able to, if my signs won't stay up where I am in my market, whether it's in the A or D area, C or B or whatever. So that's probably what I would do. And like I said, some people go back and pick them up. I probably wouldn't. I'll just let them ride. I'll just probably do about 25 in some very visible areas. And when they come down, they just come down and do the same thing the next weekend or whatever, just to generate leads from it. So those are the days. Number 8, be visible but invisible. Now, if you're struggling with signs staying up, I just went through what days to put them out and on Fridays. Now, a lot of times people will just only put them in busy intersections, right? Where there's a traffic light or stop sign. You may have heard me say that on early videos, but I still learn stuff, through experience and through others or whatever. And when I say be visible but invisible, you'll do a couple on the busy streets or whatever, but you want to be in just busy areas more than anything. Now, sometimes some fast food drive-thrus are just really busy, and there's going to be places, and all fast food drive-thrus are not created equally. You're going to have places either where they place their order, where they pick up their order, or when they're exiting the lot of the fast food restaurant. Okay, so if you can find a space where if you were sitting there in traffic, you would be forced to see your message, then you want to probably put one sign there. You just only want to put probably one sign on that particular property or whatever. So then bank drive-throughs, the same thing, either where they're handling their transaction at the drive-through, maybe some visibility, maybe near the ATM, where they can get money, or when they're exiting the lot of a bank. Same thing with drugstores like Walgreens, CVS, some other drugstores, they have drive-through. So same thing. Shopping centers, this is being visible but invisible. You may want to put 1 or 2 in a Walmart or Target or a Costco or Sam's Club, large shopping centers that are anchored by those type of stores, because normally those are destination places within a particular neighborhood. You put 1 or 2 out there on stop signs where they're going to probably be exiting the shopping center, so in traffic, some tends to jam up or whatever. That's what you're looking for, is where traffic jams up. Anytime that you can find a spot, especially if it's not on a busy street more so, but just an area, whatever, maybe going on to a busy street and there's a jam up, you always want to do that. And like off of freeway exits, a lot of times they jam up. You don't even have to be right there where they get onto the next street or whatever. It may be a few 100 feet back because traffic continuously jams up. You may be able to tie up a sign there somewhere. So just pay attention to where traffic jams up. So be visible, but invisible. Okay, number 9. Now, this should have been an earlier one whenever I was talking about ordering your signs or whatever, but we're getting it in. So how many should you order? I would suggest no less than 100. Now, you see different types of signs. So you see the 2 color and the 1 color. When you have 2 color, they're going to cost more, right? So if you can order 200 signs, 1 color, I'm going to recommend you do that over ordering 100 signs, 2 color, because it's more about the quantity that you have more so than this color scheme, in my opinion. I would take my chances with 200 signs, 1 color versus 100 signs, 2 color. Because you're just going to have double the number of signs to get your message out there if your budget won't allow you to do the 2 color. Okay, so a minimum of 100. Ideally, what would be a good start is 200. If you're only just $100 from being able to order 200 versus 100, I would recommend saving that $100 and ordering the 200 because you get a price break once you go up in different the quantity of signs or whatever. So that would be my recommendation, just to wait and order 200 because that should last you a month and a half to 2 months, depending on how you're putting them out or whatever. So, and how many you should put out a week, a minimum of 25. But 50 plus, this is like a bonus. I should have added this one in here. How many should you put out? A minimum of 20, 25 a week, ideally 50 minimum or more. But that means you're going to have to be buying signs, a lot of signs all the time, which is a good thing because that means hopefully they're working. If you continuously have to buy and not just put them out there coming down and you're not getting any results. All right, so I want to add that nugget to number 9, which again, it should have been earlier when you were placing your actual order. So hopefully you've hung around to get that one because I know that's going to probably be a question, how many should I order? So it should have been higher. Okay, number 10. And before I get into number 10, again, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notifications so you are alerted whenever I upload new videos like this one. And when I go live on YouTube on Thursday nights, where on the Ask Flip Man Flipreneur show, we answer your questions live on Facebook and YouTube, soon to be Instagram, again, live. We answer your real estate investment questions on wholesaling or whatever. So make sure you do that. And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, make sure you turn on your post notifications so you're alerted when I upload new posts. Now, at the end of this video, there's going to be an option to select another video where I'm actually out in the street showing you how to put out signs. So hold on till after number 10, you'll have that option. So number 10, be consistent. Make sure that I don't care what form of marketing you're using, whether it is Bandit Signs, direct mail, ringless voicemail, cold calling, driving for dollars, whatever it is, or a multiple of them, be committed to it because this business can be so rewarding financially, but you have to be consistent. You obviously need to know what you're doing, and that's the purpose of this video and many others that I put out there, so you can understand what you're doing. But make sure you are consistent with doing this. Be persistent. We're not talking about a lot of money here, guys, as far as what it costs to start with Bandit Sign. That's why I pound it, is because I know people don't have money, but most people can come up with $200 or $300. If you have to start driving Uber or Lyft or delivering pieces, a second job to come up with that money, I know people can do it in most cases. So that's why I pound Bandit Signs, because if done right, they can change your financial situation and change it quickly. So that's 1 through 10. I hope this made sense. Again, subscribe, Follow me, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Wait for this video on how to put out signs. It's called Ride Along. Thanks, and we will see you on the flip side.